This is probably going to surprise you all, but I just want to say these words. When you look at your life, all your ups, all your downs, everything you've gone through, all of the imperfections, you look in the mirror, when you think about your actions, commitments you've made, maybe you didn't stick to them, maybe you did at some points and sometimes you didn't. Sometimes guilt, shame, you name it, right? I just want you to remember these words. This is something that God spoke to me last night when I was in my secret place, sitting on my closet floor in the dark. You guys know I'm kind of weird. I literally have like a hat on my head whenever I'm in my secret place before God. Don't ask me why. I just, for some reason in my spirit, I just feel my head should be covered. But anyway, that's another subject. But I sit with my hat over my head, and I have this really big blanket that I keep when I'm in my prayer closet. And I had the blanket over me last night. And I was just pouring my heart out to God about things, in my life and areas that I want to change and grow in. And I was asking God, here are some areas that still, need to change. And I was just really pouring my heart out to him and just feeling some things. And you know what he said so gently in my spirit is, I made you perfect in my sight. I made you just like me. That's what I want to tell you. You're made in the image of your Father. Go and read Genesis 1:26 if you don't believe me. You're already perfect. He made you perfect in his sight. You're just like him. Now let me take this deeper, because some of you may be thinking, no, I'm not perfect. There's a whole lot of flaws. You're perfect in his sight because you are exactly his image. You're predestined. That seed is already in you. And all your imperfections, all of the ups and downs and all of the things that, you've gone through in life, when you sit in the presence of God, and this is not me giving some religious hype talk, I want you guys to get to the core of what came to me in my conviction in the spirit. What God was really telling me is, what I see as limitations and what I see as flaws, all of it is working according to his marvelous plan for my life. Because when he predestined me, he built me the way that I am built. Because in his eyes, I am perfect. And that's who I need to be and who I am, so that I can be able to bring glory to him and do whatever will and purpose he has in my life. And when he placed in my heart, I made you perfect in my image. You know how you can look at yourself and be thinking, why am I this way? Or when is this going to change? And that, you know what I mean? And God just placed in my heart, I made you perfect in my image. What you look at as flaws, those things are meant to carry you through. Those things are meant to transform you. So in other words, it's almost as if, yes, I've allowed there to be what you would call limitations in your life. But those things are meant to challenge you to go higher. Everything, every thorn, that's a good way of putting it, right? Every thorn in your side, right? But everything that I've allowed, all of these things about your character, about you as a person, that you wish would change and this and that, everything I set up beautifully and perfectly when I made you. And I can't begin to tell you the amount of love that I begin to feel in my spirit. And I just begin to feel that, oh my goodness, I'm made perfect in his sight. I'm perfect in his eyes. I'm perfect. And so are you, my brothers and sisters. Here's what I want to share with you all. I want to read a little bit from my book, Necessary. There's a chapter in here called The Secret Place, and I'm just going to read a little bit from the affirmation. And the affirmation says, I have found the secret place where my circumstances do not determine my destiny, and my fears and past failures cannot enter. A place where I am no longer chained by my past. A place where my naysayers cannot enter. In this secret place, I am reminded that I can achieve all things. I am reminded that I am greater than who I see in the mirror. In this secret place, I am filled with love, wisdom, and great power. This is my secret place in the presence of God. One of the things that God revealed to me last night in the spirit, And I wasn't planning on talking about this, but you guys know I'm a mess on my best days. So I'm not going to try to sit here and act like every single day I'm skipping and jumping and, just praising God all day long, and I never have my moments or whatever. But I was laying down. I had my blanket over my head talking to God about some things. And once he revealed to me, I made you perfect in my sight. He revealed to me, he reminded me of the story in the Bible of the man that had been sitting, by the pool for many, many, many years, waiting for someone to help him get into the pool and to get help. And right at the end of my prayer with God, literally I felt this in my spirit. I literally heard the words in my spirit, take up your mat, get up and walk, take up your mat. Now it's time to move forward. I wasn't planning on even sharing that. But I'm praying that someone who's listening to my voice right now, whatever journey you've been going on, whatever season you've been in, maybe you feel like, Z, I've been around this mountain too long. It's time for me to move forward. I don't want to keep going through the same cycles. I want to encourage you. Pick up your mat, my dear brothers and sisters. You've had enough. You're ready to move forward. You're ready to grow. Take up your mat and move forward. I have a challenge that a lot of the members of the Unlocking Greatness community are going through right now. It's a 21-day challenge. And the challenge that was posted for today and then for the next 2 days is inside of the 21-day challenge. I'm taking a week inside of the challenge to really challenge them on their mindset, the way they're thinking of themselves and, processing their thoughts and how they're, going about, with their plans for the day or what have you. And one of the things that they're working on now for these next 3 days is looking at the way that God sees them, getting the truth. That's what I called it. Getting the truth about the way that God sees you. That's one of the things that they're looking at. And Genesis 1:26 is actually the passage that they're looking at. And then the very next day is getting the truth about your assignment. And I challenged them to read Ephesians 1:5 to just be reminded that they are predestined. God's not making up their life as they go along the way. But getting the truth about, wait a minute, things may be difficult at times in life, but let me not forget this. I'm on an assignment. I'm actually on an assignment here. I'm actually doing what God has called me to do. So getting the truth about your assignment. And then the third day of this, inside of this 21-day challenge, the part we're focusing on getting the truth is getting the truth about your future. So it's getting the truth about yourself. Who am I really? Getting the truth about your assignment. I'm on an assignment. I'm here to do the will of God. And then getting the truth about your future. And I believe in that passage, they're looking at Jeremiah 29:11. God has plans to prosper us and not to harm us. Because we have to remember when the enemy speaks to us, you guys, when the enemy speaks, I should say, his native language is a lie. That's all he does is lies and try to feed us all these negative thoughts and self-doubts about ourselves. We should be further along in life. We should do better. We need to change this. And what about this? Yeah, you're doing good in this area, but what about over here? That's all the enemy does is continue to feed us those lies. So I think it's very important that we spend time on getting the truth. Getting the truth. Who are we before God? What is our assignment and what is our future? I love you all, and I want to remind you one more time. You're already perfect. You're perfect in his eyes just the way you are. Regardless of what it looks like right now. Regardless of the good days and the bad days. Regardless of what you may call personality flaws or characteristic flaws or what have you. You are already perfect because he made you in his image. And I pray to God that you're encouraged to spend time in the secret place with God. Sit and spend time with him. Pour out your heart and be real to him. That's one thing I love about Job. If you guys ever read through Job, take some time to read through all those chapters in there. I think it's about 40 or so chapters in the book of Job. What I love about him, if you really look at it, he was so real and raw in his relationship with God. Same with David, right? He was just raw and just real. Speaking to God, pouring out everything. Good and bad, right? Spend time in the secret place with God. Be real. Let him know how you're feeling. And ask him to give you the truth. Ask God. God gives wisdom generously without finding fault. That's what the Bible teaches us. Ask God to tell you the truth. What is the truth about me? What is the truth about why do you have me here? What in the world is my assignment? And what is the truth about my future, God? Show me so that I may know and walk in the confidence given to me. Anyway, I love you all. You've been listening to Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Zenja Glass. Hold your head up and keep going, my dear brothers and sisters, and know who you are in the presence of God. I love you all. Be encouraged.